What is up, card fighters, and welcome back to the Prime Vanguard channel. Today you'll be seeing me commentate my fight on Solrarion versus Messiah. Now, Messiah is the new stride deck that just came out very recently in Vanguard, and it was my very first time playing against this. I'm super excited to showcase it. This deck has some really strong late game potential while being a little bit weak in the early game. However, being able to draw a lot of cards, lock stuff, bind personal units that are going to be super important later in the game. The deck really did have a lot going for it, and I'm really excited to showcase to you guys what this deck can do as well as Solrarion can do against this matchup. Now, with that being said, card fighters, before I showcase and start commentating this fight, if you enjoy seeing content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget the notification bell so you guys are always updated on my newest videos coming out. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into this. Okay, so we open up the game, and luckily for me, I was able to go first and start setting things up. Oh, no, wait. Okay, so we start the game off, and lucky for me, guys, I was able to go second against a stride deck because we all know that going first against stride decks is like awful because they can stride and just build a mass amounts of power. I did not know what any of these cards did. I remember old Messiah like way back in the G era day because I played back then, but I had no idea what this deck would do. So I wasn't sure if it was going to lock a bunch of my stuff and be like that time period or like what to expect. So approaching this matchup, I was like, well, it's a stride deck, so I'm going to go ahead and start playing aggressively, which I feel like you should do against all stride decks because they don't really do anything because they're GB locked until later in the game. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to call this a cob and just start swinging. And I feel like this was the correct play here. I don't think I should have, waited and held on to my resources despite me not knowing what the deck did. I was like, if my stuff's going to get locked, it's going to get locked, but I can remove my front row rear guards because the way my deck is built, because my deck is built to play against the Gondiva and the Ava matchup, it's not, like I can remove my stuff in the front row so I can, go back and swing with them and get some advantage at least. So he calls the Makani, who I forgot was a glitter unit that like can mix stuff. You can play it in Stargate and you can play it in, Dark States. So he calls the Makani, gets the soul charge. I take that, and then again I go ahead and I will start defending early, which I think is the correct play. Did I defend? Did I block it? Let's see here. I don't remember. Yes, I did block it. Ooh, good. Yep, I blocked this one, and then I go ahead and I just try to keep up the pressure with my attacks. Against these decks that, like I said, don't do anything till later in the game, I do think it's important to rush. One thing I have learned about Messiah now that I played against it and I've seen some videos online for it is the fact that the deck really does not pop off until the later game. And I think that playing super aggressive against it in the early game is really important because unlike Chronojet stride set, the Dark State support or the Stargate support for this doesn't really work until the later game, and the builds or the cards they have to play for it don't work until the later game either. Now here I pull any Terrace, and I was debating if I should soul charge it or if I should add it to my hand, and I was thinking to myself, I should probably just, honestly, just like soul charge it. It wouldn't have been that big a deal. I would have had soul for my other turn. The Sakab comes in, I move the Katawaya into soul, and I draw out the Sakab because I'm digging for Katawaya. Unfortunately, I don't find it. But that's perfectly fine because I had Angel to get my soul and I had any Terrace in my hand. So I had soul set up for next turn. I missed out on that, but it's okay. I want to keep up the pressure here. I think honestly I should have left the Sakab up front and then call the Drilling Angel to the side, knock out his rear guard, swing with my other unit, and then swing with my other unit. I get my Persona right here. This way I can just at least start messing with his formation because I don't know if it matters or not. I just didn't want him to swing at my Sakab because that's my draw engine going into my next turn. So apparently the card he guarded with just gets 5k shield just for you having a Messiah Vanguard. So finally we go into Alter Ego. And he's checking to see what my stuff does. Because the thing about Solrarion and the thing that with this build at the time, I'm not scared of losing my rear guards. I'm really not. Okay, I moved the camera back so you guys can see a little bit better. I'm not scared of losing too many of my rear guards in the early game because I'm going to get a whole column next turn. And then I still have cards in my hand from, Illyrian's skill and being ridden to pawn and just me filtering out through the deck with the abilities that I have. I'm checking his drop for crits and PGs because I saw him discard 2 and he lost 1 PG already. He's just swings in with Alter Ego, and I just take it because I need the 1 damage for Sakab and Solrarion, because Stogron's going to give me a counter charge, which is perfect. But again, this is why honestly, pause for a second. This is why I should have held back on calling the Drilling Angel to the same slot as the Sakab. I should have called Drilling Angel to the left, used the skill, because if I had gotten the Katawaya, I could have still gotten the card draw, but I would have had the formation for the Katawaya skill, and I would have had the Sakab already benefited from that. And the other thing here is the fact that when reading over Solrarion, I could actually call the Stogron in front of the Sakab again, now that Katawaya is out of the way, and then call the Illyrion back. That's 2 cards with advantage both turns. But I didn't do it that way. I should have done it that way. That would have been the more aggressive play for me, but I didn't. And I also didn't know that the Makani could move into Soul. I didn't read it all the way through. I just wanted to make sure he could play in that deck, which was, it was a stupid idea. But because obviously he wouldn't play a card in his deck that, wasn't legal. But no, I should have done that. That would have taken away 1 card of Soul from him and a rear guard he could have boosted or attacked me with, which is fine. I used the skill. I put Drilling Angel on the top. I draw a card. I stack the deck. But yeah, this is why my whole attack pattern was wrong, because looking back at it, I should have put the Stogron in front of the Sakab, gotten the counter charge, and then do my Solrarion turn. So yeah, this whole setup was just incorrect. I explained Solrarion's skill. The top card is a normal unit, so all of my stuff gets 5k. So I'm swinging magic numbers against him, and I saw him drop to 15 points of shield. And then, it's obviously it's going to take more than, 10k for the other sets of attacks. He doesn't get a damage trigger here. And I'm in a good spot because he's already at 3 damage. And I still have, I still have 3 more attacks left. I swing with the, yeah, see, this is why the formation was wrong. I could have held on to my Drilling Angel, but I chose not to. Yeah, attack pattern wise, this is all wrong. Don't do this. This is very incorrect. There's a way more consistent way to do this. Yeah, I misplayed bad here. +1, I draw from the Sakab. I use Angel. I'm still gonna dig for the Katawaya, I think. Yeah. Oh no, I dig for the Ini Terrace, which is just as good because I don't think I saw that many copies of it. I lucked out and I got it. And then I get the shuffle. And the cool thing about Ini Terrace is that he gets 10k when called out from deck, so he becomes an 18k attacker or booster on his own, and then he gets 5k from Solrarion because that ability continues throughout the turn. So I really did have all the offensive pieces I needed this turn to push hard. There was more of a consistent way of doing this. And that's just what I'm upset with myself. Well, that's what I'm disappointed with myself about. I hit the front. I didn't hit anything. But at this point, my rear guards are really powerful and I'm swinging for a lot of pressure. Yep. And then I think I push him to 5. Because it's, 18, 28, 33, 46. Yeah, 46. Yeah, I push really hard here. That was correct. That was the correct play for me. Let me move a little bit so you guys can see everything. See my pretty little face a little bit better. Okay, so he makes his first play with Messiah, and again, I don't know anything about this deck, and I still vaguely know this deck, so I'm not sure. Messiah players, let me know if he played this turn correctly. He didn't know what my deck did or what my cards did, so therefore he's just asked for explanation on everything. I told him nothing on my board does anything, they're all on place. The only one that has a skill is the Sakab. He sets his skill up, he gets the lock. He locks one of his cards, and then I have to lock one of my cards. He locks a Sakab, so that this way at the end of the turn when it unlocks, I'll lose it. The crest is going to give 5k, it's honestly insane. Calls the arrestor, calls that grade 2, and the grade 2 apparently gets 5k when something is locked. Yeah, and I'm looking at his cards, and I'm just putting the markers on them so that we can be sure about the power, because I don't like to be confused when I'm watching people play. And then I'm looking at the skills of his stuff. It's just really crazy. So he attacks, I intercept, because it only got 5k. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what sort of crazy combos you're going to do. So my strategy was like, I'm going to just block everything early that I can before he flips with the grade 4 and gets more power to your front row. So I'm like, okay, let's just guard everything he can. Because when somebody leaves their back row unit standing, or when they start attacking like this, it gives me, okay, you're restanding your front row or you're getting new front row units. So I'm gonna just go ahead and block the weaker attacks, and then if I have to get punished later, I'll take my punishment. That's fine. But I'm gonna block what I can now. Plus, I had a really big hand at this point. I built up my hand with my grade 1 from the skill, and then obviously I had the ability of the Sakab be kicked in twice, so I got a 2-card draw. I was like, there's no reason for me to take that much damage prior to the Vanguard swinging. So now his units get more power. I just changed the marker to reflect that. His Vanguard gets power. I'm thinking... I said I'll take it because the Vanguard doesn't get a crit. So I was like, why not? I'll take it. But he checked double crit, so he hops up, and we're equal in terms of damage. I got a crit here, I got a front here, and I got a crit. So I go up by 30,000 with my damage triggers, which made surviving this next turn a lot easier. Don't have to guard for much. Yep, that locks. And a turn, everything he has unlocks. And then because of the crest, I lose my Sakab, which is my draw engine. And then this is the crazy part about this deck. So because he unlocked 4 times, you actually get to draw every single time something unlocks. I thought it was just like a hard once per turn, but I forgot. It's been a long time since I played against Messiah, this version since G era. So I didn't know he got to Soul Blast 4 and draw 4. So at this point, I'm really scared because I was like, damn, he got to draw 4. He's got a perfect guard, 2 15k defenses because he got 2 crits and a PG. So I was like, defensively speaking, he can really stop like 2 of my attacks hard. And I know I only get 4 attacks in a turn, but he's at 5 damage. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a look at everything he has. I know he has 1 PG in the damage zone. I know he pulled 2 crits. He dropped 2 crits in his drop zone. And even though he drew 4 cards I don't know about, I'm like, I have to push. I have to keep pushing because I pushed really hard prior and I need to keep going. So I'm checking his drop zone, I'm checking for defensive triggers or anything like that, just to get an idea of what's in his hand. Yeah, I'm looking for anything else. So at this point, I say to myself, okay, we gotta drop the full board and then we just try to maximize on our attacks as best as we can. And then I had the piece to reset for Solrarion. And I'm checking my damage and drop. So at this point, I'm aware that I've lost a heal, 3 crits, 1 front. So I didn't expect a front in the future. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, trigger-wise, I gotta predict what I can get. Because the defense is just gonna be insane. So I dropped the Pierce, and I forgot what I put on top. I put in any terrace, I draw, stack any terrace, and that was a solid piece because I was like, okay, so Solrarion turn, 5k, unit get Persona Ride benefit, 10k. And then I go ahead and I call my next card. I need my strongest units out to actually try and win this turn. So I call a second Pierce. This is where I mess up at. I can already tell if I don't reset again. Do I reset again? I hope so. Ah, Cassius, you idiot. Yeah, don't make that mistake. Here, what I should have done was the double pierce is fine, but I honestly should have used the double pierce to reset for the other any terrace. Did I draw? This will tell me if I drew or not. I did. Oh my god, why did I do that? Ah, that was so incorrect. I should have left I should have left the any terrace on top because the any terrace is going to get more power than the grade 3. That was really wrong of me. And I had another one in hand. I fumbled the bag. But at least my numbers are good. That's the solid thing I'm going for me. Like, the dragon gets 5k because he saw Solrarion go active. Persona Ride 10k. 5k from Solrarion. So it is plus 15, 28, plus 5, 33,000 to the Vanguard. He blocks with that. I go into Soul. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, at this point in the game, I actually realized that I fumbled the bag hard on this play. I shouldn't have done it like that. I should have left any terrace on top. Like, that really is a big deal because the any terrace comes in, gets 10k, 10k plus 5. That's plus 25,000 with its own skill as well added to it. I call out the Pierce. I put this on the bottom. I think it was like a perfect guard or something, or a heal. It was something, but I was looking for offensive cards at this point because I was like, I need to win. Defensive cards won't help me. I do remember it being, it was like a perfect guard or a trigger. Yeah, I fumbled the bag hard here. Last one, draw. So clearly that card wasn't that important. I was hoping for something better. Perfect guards, he drops alter ego. Check twin drive, any terrace, and then I got a heal trigger. Heal out. So pause for a second. I actually did make a misplay here. And this is on my fault for not reading my own cards. The misplay here is that the grade 3 dragon does not get 5k if it did not see Solrarion be active on the turn it was placed. The ability is an auto skill, which means that it has to see Solrarion actually do it while it's on the rear guard to get the 5k. So this power column is incorrect. It's because I gave the 10k to my other rear guard, I think so, right? But no, it's supposed to be 28 plus 13, which is 41 instead of 46. And that does matter because that goes past the 43 mark, which is an extra 5k out of the opponent's hand. So it does actually affect, it does matter. It does affect the game state. So to my opponent, I apologize for this. This was my mistake. Yeah, so I won there. Did he show his hand? Let me watch the rest of it. Okay, so in his hand he has Alter Ego, grade 2, 5k. That's not the one that gives you 5k shield. 15. Okay, so he wasn't able to block it anyway, even if it was 41, looking at his hand. However, this last turn was a huge misplay. Besides the power, I should have called the Ini Terrace, because the Ini Terrace would have came out, gotten 10k, so that's 18, gotten another 10k because Persona Rise, so it's 28, 5k, 33, and then I would have hit that 46k mark. So had I made the correct plane called Ini Terrace out, this wouldn't have been an issue. It would have still been 46, and then I'm 56, because the other one on the left side had seen the ability activate. But that's just the play that, that was the correct play. I should have called the Ini Terrace out first, not the dragon, because the dragon does not get the skill and doesn't even move to soul. The only thing it does is you call it out, you can reset again for the top of the deck if you want, if I had the Sakab still active to draw the other card out. But yeah, that was, he wouldn't have been able to stop it anyway. But the point is that that last turn was a huge misplay on my part. However, as far as my commentary on Messiah goes, I still think Messiah is still a very strong deck. Drawing 4 cards and especially pushing this hard late in the game is insane. Honestly, really incredible. I think that Messiah, I'm waiting to see what the rest of the deck does, and I'm going to check out some other lists, because it's honestly like the only G deck I'm really thinking about picking up. I think that the lock mechanic and some of the stuff that Stargate, or my bad, Brantgate can do is actually really impressive right now. And I just want to see the future, what the deck has got. But with that being said, card fighters, this was Solrarion versus Messiah. Thank you so much for staying tuned throughout the entirety of this video, and I'll see you later. Peace.